Early today morning, we've seen the GDP numbers coming in for the UK, and this has part of some of those gains we've seen on the pound because the numbers came in low. We'll be looking at the pound, gold, and the euro in this session of the Market Watch series, and we're going to get a bit technical because we have a lot to cover in today's trading session. My name is Samson Mzera, and welcome to this session of the Market Watch series. And remember to share, comment, and like this video. When you're looking at fundamentals, most of the times you look at the major news and what the market is expecting. Usually, you'll see that those expectations are slowly priced into the market as the news data approaches. In this case, we are seeing some of that weakness on the dollar because if you look at the expectations, we are expecting a lower inflation reading on the year-on-year figure, and this is building onto that dollar weakness. So for example, if you look at gold, we are trading on the upper side of that range. We've been in this range for a couple of weeks now, and we are trading on the upper side of this range purely because we are expecting the inflation report to come in lower for the year on year. And this is what is creating some of those gains or elevating gold at the moment towards as we approach the news today. For example, if you look at USD yen, then the same story applies. Here we are seeing the dollar gradually weaken against the yen. And it's because we do expect some hawkishness from the yen, but more importantly, that expectation story that we've been talking about on inflation. And this is why we are seeing that trend downwards. So we've recently broken structure and we're heading lower. And if things stay as is, that is a downtrend until the news comes in. So the news is what is going to define whether the market was right in justifying that downtrend, or we need to reprise our expectations and we see that reversal, or we see a reversal happening in USD/JPY. So at the moment, again, we are pricing that weak number coming in from our USD, from our inflation report in the US, and that is what is causing that move lower in USD/JPY. So when you look at GBP USD, we are also seeing that downtrend playing along. We did see some recovery on the pound because of a higher expected GDP number, but if we look at the actual numbers, they did come in lower, so that trend is expected to continue going lower until we get a feel of what the inflation is later in the day. So it seems as though we are about to halt that trend because of the expectation of higher numbers, but they didn't come in higher. They came in lower. In fact, there were very terrible numbers today in the wake of the trading session. That is what has led to that retracement of that entire pullback that we are seeing on GBP USD. And finally, currency of the week is the ECB and the euro. Now, when you look at the European Central Bank, we are expecting them to cut. And if they're going to cut interest rates, then we do expect the euro to head lower. Now, if you look at most of the euro pairs, we have seen this play out very nicely from euro Swiss franc to euro JPY. We've been seeing that downtrend materialize really strongly in the markets. At first on Monday, it seemed as though the market was still undecided, but heading into the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, we've seen that downtrend play very well because of those expectations. Now, heading into the news, we need to justify this downtrend. If indeed we cut interest rates and the ECB remains dovish, then we will continue seeing that downtrend play along. However, if they cut interest rates but ECB expresses concerns of cutting further or aggressively, then it might hamper those downtrends that we're seeing on both the euro Swiss franc and the euro Japanese yen. And why are we picking these two pairs? It's because we can't really use euro USD, because also for USD you're expecting inflation, and that might weaken the dollar, so it might not be a very good pairing to use when trying to play that euro ECB expectation. So far, we've seen strong numbers from Switzerland in terms of the GDP and growth numbers, and that is what is supporting that strength in the Swiss franc, making it a very interesting pair to pair it with euro on that downtrend. Same thing with the Japanese yen, where we are seeing the fundamentals or the hawkishness coming in from the BOJ and them looking to increase interest rates even further, and that is why we are seeing that downtrend on euro JPY. Those are two very interesting pairs to look at the start of this week. If things stay as is, then we do expect it to head lower. That is, if we expect, again, the dovishness from the ECB meeting, and this time we're looking at the meeting, not necessarily whether they're going to cut or not, because it's already priced in that we're going to cut. So the meeting is what is going to determine if we go lower or not. And having said that, those are the pairs we're looking at for today's trading session. Be on the lookout for those for the inflation report. The only time you're going to react to that is if we have anything significantly higher or lower than the expectations. However, if it comes in line, things will remain as is, and we'll just be heading into tomorrow's trading session with that ECB meeting in mind. Having said that, thank you for tuning in to this session of the Market Watch series. If you want to trade any of these instruments, be sure to visit the HFM website or the description below this video, and see you in the next one.